Hi YouTube family, welcome to week 1 of my weight loss program. I know that many of you watched my meltdown I had last Monday, but I am telling you that was the biggest kick in the butt I have had in I can't even tell you how long. When I reached out to you guys and I asked you to please help me, I had no idea what was going to happen or you know what I was actually asking for or anything like that. I just knew that I needed to have more than I had on my own. I felt like I could not do it on my own. And you guys, I'm not kidding. I said this in a video a couple days ago, but it blew my mind. I can't even start to tell you how wonderful it was to have hundreds of you just reach out to me and say, hey, you're not alone. Let's do this together. Let's get this thing going. Let's have, our lives back. And for me, it was the most touching thing I have had happen to me in a really, really long time. And so I want to say thank you. You guys know I sound like a broken record sometimes. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of that outpouring that you guys did, and just being there and hearing your stories and understanding that I'm not alone. And it also kind of brought me out of it because I realized, even though I have all these things, it could be worse, it could be better, but the only thing that I have control over is how I react to it and what I do with my life. What I wanted to do right now is just kind of talk to you about the majority of the comments and what those comments said. And if you guys get a chance and you feel like it, go back and read through some of the comments because they were just phenomenal. So one of the things that stood out to me more than anything is so many of you are struggling with your weight and pain. And the pain may have come before your weight, it may have come as a result of your weight, whatever. But those two things seem to be going hand in hand. And you were all, frustrated you couldn't do it, and the pain was like, I talked about last Monday, it's cyclical. You hurt and you don't want to do anything, but you want to be soothed. So you turn to food and you eat to be soothed, and then you gain weight, and then you hurt, and it's just like, on and on and on, and it could go on indefinitely. But a lot of you said, okay, for me it's time too. So if any of you are joining me in this super journey that we're going to go on, thank you. And if you're just watching just to see what happens and stuff, thank you for that too. Your support is just beyond comprehension. And to reach out to a total stranger and say, hey, this is what's going on in my life. I'd love to be able to be a part of what you're doing. And I just think that's great. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to try really hard to set up a Facebook page where we can all go and we can all comment and, see each other and connect with each other. I'm going to work on that in the next few weeks. So hopefully by the end of March, I'll have that going where I can just, we could like post recipes, post a picture of yourself, how you're doing, before and afters and that kind of thing. So I think it will be really great to be able to do that with each other. The other thing was that I wanted to tell you that how my eating's been going and what the other things are that have been going. So as far as my eating, I told you I was going to do Weight Watchers, and I did start on that. I have the Weight Watchers program, the new one, and you can do an app on your tablet or your phone, and then they help with recipes and tracking how much you're supposed to eat and your activity, and everything gets plugged into there, and then you get help along the way, which has been really good. Years ago, probably I would say a good 8 or 9 years ago, I was very successful on Weight Watchers and I lost 65 pounds. So I'm hopeful that this is something that I can do long term with Weight Watchers. But I'm open to other suggestions too. And the reason that I said that is because so many of you guys said, hey, you know what? You need to look into the keto diet, ketogenics diet. And I was really just smiling to myself because the ketogenic diet for me is just, it's like a lot like Atkins, but I finished a book on it recently is why I was smiling to myself. And you know, so many of the studies and what's going on with people, they're so sound in those that ketogenic diet. And you know, the main premise for the ketogenic diet is that it helps it helps epileptic people, and they put that on people that have seizures or epilepsy or anything like that. So anytime that they were looking at it, and they were looking at it for depression, and they were looking at it for a whole host of things that really was helping. And the studies go clear back to the early 1900s of putting people on this diet where it's very high protein, high fat, low carb, almost to no carb, but there's, you know, lots of ways to be able to get really good foods in there. And that's the focus of it, is really great foods, great, you know, lots of vegetables, lots of really good fats, nuts, different things like that are really, really good for you. And so I'm kind of gonna be deciding which one I want to do exactly. For now, I'm sticking with Weight Watchers. It's very livable. It's not a plan that I have to go in and I have to just eradicate what I'm doing. I just have to tweak a few things and tweak my portion sizes, and then I can go ahead and just work that right into my life right now. So for me, it was like, let's do the thing that was the least amount of stress. But thank you all so much for it, you know, for giving me the suggestion of the ketogenic diet, because I'd forgotten all about it. So I'm going to do a lot of research on that too. I know that that helps you lose weight quite a bit more quick than Weight Watchers does. So if any of you are thinking about, you know, I need to get weight off right now, then the ketogenic diet would be a good one. However, I do want to address that very thing. When we talk about losing weight, we talk so much about, okay, I need to lose this weight. And once you get to that point, then you're like, holy Moses, I've got to get this off right now. And I think that's where we sabotage ourselves the most. And it's really sad because we didn't put this weight on. It's like I told you, in 6 months I put on 35 pounds, and that's an awful lot amount of weight, but it still was over 6 months. So, you know, if I lost 35 pounds in 6 months, I'd be happy with that. So why don't we just tell ourselves, okay, it is what it is. I'm here. I may be the highest I've ever been, which is what I am. I'm the biggest I've ever seen on the scale, that number. But we need to be kinder, a little bit kinder to ourselves, and say, okay, I am where I am, but this is livable, this is doable. I don't want to stay here. Therefore, what am I going to do forward? And losing weight too quickly can really backfire on you. And a lot of the things that I have read recently, because I've been reading all week about everything, is specifically that the faster you lose the weight, the harder it is to keep it off. And the reason is because it's our mind-body connection. Our minds will tell our bodies, hold on a minute, you know, you got to go into survival mode. So you're going to have one of two things happen. You're either going to have a bad plateau where your weight loss just stops completely for however long until, you know, everything gets caught up. And then, you know, you have a tendency to, once you plateau, you're thinking, well, what good is this going to do? And you go off of your program, or you go back to bad eating. So it tells us, stop, you know, stop this losing, don't do that. So you can actually be eating exactly perfectly on plan. You could be, you know, doing all of your exercises, doing all those things that you're supposed to be doing, and still not lose weight. And that's because the mind is so strong. The other really bad thing that can happen when you lose weight too fastly is you lose muscle, because the body, you know, you can lose a lot of fat, but you lose muscle at the same time. And especially if you're not eating enough protein. Protein is so key. It is the one nutrient. Now, our bodies can store carbohydrates in the form of fat and sugar, and it can store fats also as energy. but it cannot store protein. And so we need to be eating protein every single day with every single meal. So what happens is you lose that quickly and you lose muscle mass, and then you have a body that doesn't look as good. Think about what you think of when you think of a healthy person. I'm not talking a thin person, I'm talking a healthy person. Now, when I think of a healthy person, I think of those girls that go run down the beach and they've got curves. I mean, they got a nice butt, they got, curves, they're curvaceous, they have a waist and their hips, and I just think that's beautiful. I think we all do. We don't think of somebody that is a rail, just teeny tiny stick skinny as being healthy. It's kind of a catch-22 again. Where do you want to be? Do you want to have a healthy body, or do you just want to be thin? So for me, it's about that health. So for me right now, my aim is to lose 2 pounds a week, which is very doable, which means that in a year, I've got my weight off, which I'm so overjoyed about. I started, it's a week in, and in, 51 weeks, I'm going to be a goal. So I'm really excited about that. I'm trying to think so much differently, because this for me has to be a complete switch over in the way I think. It has to be a total brain turnaround. So when I was talking about the mind-body connection a minute ago, there's a lot of things that we can do, and I'm kind of all over the place right now, you guys. I'm sorry. I've got so many things going on in my head of really positive plans that I want to put together and I want to share with you guys, but I'm all coming out garbled. I'm so sorry. But one of the things I do have planned, and one of the gals that was in the comments below, she said that she had a journal and she was going to write in that. And I remember from being in therapy and from being to doctors and different things, a journal is one of those things that is just, it's all about you. It's all about, your time, your feelings, what is going on in your life. And you don't necessarily have to sit down and write out everything that's happened in your day. That is true journaling, but in the context of what she was talking about with me and what I remember from therapy, there's this thing called a gratitude journal. And a gratitude journal is at night or in the morning. It doesn't matter really which one you do it. You just have to kind of get into routine. But you pull out your journal and you write down 5 things that you're grateful for. And that's called a gratitude journal. And what it does more than anything is it tends to keep your mind focused on positives instead of negatives. So let's say that you're weighing all the time. Let's say you're weighing once a week, and you get on that scale and you see that you have gone up a half a pound. But you're already down like 25 pounds. So now you're down 24 and a half pounds. Our mind can say that's a real negative, but if you're writing down a gratitude journal, instead of writing down negative things, you're writing down good things. You can say, I've lost 24 and a half pounds. That's a really big accomplishment. That's a really huge thing to do. And I want you to, as we go along, try to maybe incorporate that if you're doing this with me, because what's going to happen is you're going to be feeding your mind and your body good things at the same time. And that mind-body connection that we have, where our mind, even our subconscious mind, can be thinking of things, and if we're constantly feeding it negative, then it's going to pull out negative into the rest of our body. And meditating on positive things and getting yourself into a positive frame of mind helps with depression. It helps with anxiety. It helps with activity. It helps with your diet. It helps you all the way around. And there's nothing like that positive reinforcement energy that we can get from writing that down. Now, write more if you want to, but just make sure you at least write that many things. That way, if you're having a really bad day, you can flip back through and go, oh, this is a good day, and you can remember what happened in that day, or different things like that. Just an idea. If you guys want to do it, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. Sometimes it's hard to look in a day and think of 5 positive things. Sometimes it can be really hard, but you can do it, because you just have to, even if it's just that you were able to walk in that day, or even if it was just, you know, you saw a bird out your window, or, you know, anything like that. It really doesn't matter. So that's all about journaling and kind of helping your mind. I'm starting to look into meditation too, just positive meditation, not like letting your mind go, but positive reinforcement meditation. And I think that that's really important too. I'm going to save that for next week because I'm doing quite a bit of research on that. One of the things I wanted to talk to you specifically about before we go today is activity. And I know you all know everybody says exercise, exercise, but as I have laid in my bed for months and months, I did not realize what was happening to me. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so I got up and I walked, and I've made my family walk with me every day this week. And the first day I thought I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to die. And I'll tell you, I only went around the block. I went around one city block, and our blocks are not that big here. So it scared me because it's like, you know, I knew that I was losing a lot of my stamina, but I really didn't know where I was. But in 1 week of just going around the block one time a day, that's all I've done. I've tried to, you know, stay up and around and stay active, but all I've really done is just gone around the block for exercise. For me, that's a huge accomplishment right now. So, you know, and it takes about 10 to 12, 15 minutes, depending on what I'm feeling, you know, whether I can get my air or not. But, you know, long time ago, again, when I was in therapy, my therapist, he said, I want you to exercise. And I rolled my eyes at him. And he's like, what? And I said, do you guys know anything else? And he's like, you know what? We really don't. Because exercise has been clinically proven to improve mood and improve depression. They don't know why, other than it releases the endorphins in the brain. But he said, so I can do one of two things. He said, I can hand you a prescription pad with a prescription for antidepressants, or I can hand you a handwritten note that says exercise for 30 minutes every day. Now you take your pick whether you want to be on pills or whether you want to exercise. And I looked at him and said, are the studies that overwhelming? He said, absolutely. So I was just like, wow. But I forgot about that until this week, because I feel like exercise has lifted me up too during this week. So, you know, it's been a really, really good positive week. Okay, what I want to tell you guys is I'm not weighing every week. I'm not doing that because you know that mind-body connection I just talked about? My mind will totally freak me out if I let it. I will crumble. I will absolutely crumble if I let my mind overtake my thinking about, oh, I didn't make this amount this week. Why am I not losing this much as fast as I should be? That kind of thinking. So I'm not doing that. Once a month, I'm going to get on the scales just to see where I'm at, just to see how it's going for me. I did decide something else, and I should have decided this before last Monday when everything fell apart. But I should have taken my measurements, because I think that is such a huge teller of where you are, so much more than what the scale says. Because if you're trying to keep that protein going in you, and you're trying to build muscle where there was fat in order to turn your body's metabolism around, then you might not see things on the scale that you would see in measurements or in clothes. So kind of just give that a little bit of thought, you guys. The other thing is I've got a really good recipe for you guys. I have rediscovered, actually my mom is the one that actually got me onto this little recipe that I had of doing, it's kind of a pancake type thing, but it's actually done with oats, eggs, and cottage cheese. And it sounds gross, I know, when you put cottage cheese in there, it sounds disgusting, but you put them in a blender and then you blend everything up and then you make a pancake out of it. And guys, oh, it's been so yummy all week long. I've just been just really excited about that little recipe. I've had it every single morning for breakfast with some berries and a little tiny bit of pat of butter, and you know, so yeah, it's been really good. So I'm going to leave that recipe below. So each week I'm gonna try and give you like, I'll try to start everything out with the video with an inspirational quote, something that has to do with either weight or overcoming things at the beginning. Sometimes I know I try to do funny things in there. Sometimes I try to do, you know, really silly things in there. But on Monday, it's gonna be purely inspirational for us to have that there. And the other thing is I'm gonna try and show you at least one recipe, maybe two. It depends on how the week goes, but I really want to find you one recipe. The other thing is somebody, and I know you're probably watching, and you gave me such a good idea, so thank you. I'm sorry I can't remember names. I am so bad with names, you guys. Oh my gosh. But anyway, she dedicated a song to me on YouTube, and it's the coolest song ever, you guys. So it's all about being okay with who we are and loving ourselves. And I'm going to put that link down below because it was just precious. It was absolutely precious what she showed me with that one single song and that one single video. Okay, so that's the other thing. I've got so much to tell you guys. Okay, so that's the other thing is that I've been listening to music more, and I have not been doing that for such a long time. And oh my goodness, you guys, music is just, when you're a teenager, you're grooving around all the time. And where is it in our grown-up years and having kids and doing this and that where we don't listen to music anymore? What a shame. What an absolute shame, because of how uplifting it is, because of what it can do for our soul, and what, you know, and not only that, but I'm listening to some of these songs from the 70s that I'm grooving on, and I'm moving a little bit, you know, and my daughter's going to be absolutely embarrassed if she sees this, but yeah, I am. So I'm excited about that too. Another thing that I found through the week. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of things down in the description bar. So if you guys want to, just click through there, watch a couple of the little things, get a little bit of a recipe, go from there. Yeah, I think that's just about everything that I wanted to talk about today. Oh, one more thing is, I know I showed you my full body picture. I'm going to do that every 2 months. I'm going to do it once a month because I want to have a video log of my progression. So once a month I think will be really good. So yeah, I'm really excited about everything that's going on, and you guys, oh my gosh, over the moon, thank you. I just, wow, it was great. It took me a long time to answer you, and it probably still will, but I want you all to know that so many of you are going to join me. So if there's any of you out there that hadn't thought about that, just think about possibly joining us and doing this for us for whatever reason that you need to. If you want to join us, please do. I would love to have you. I would love to have you in this little circle. And I have this feeling that you all that are in the same position as me, I have this feeling that we are just going to do so stinking good. We are going to be just awesome. Just flat out awesome. Just awesome in the best use of that word was ever used in the 80s. We're going to be great. So I'm excited. I love you all so, so very much. Thank you for being with me. So if you like this video and you're excited about your weight loss too, or your weight loss journey, please give this video a thumbs up. I know that I ask for that every time. And yeah, it does help me as a YouTube creator. It does help me. But really what it does for more than anything is it's going to get it out there for everybody to be able to see and join us. And I think it would be so great the more people that we had interacting with each other and getting to know each other and everything. So I think that's everything, you guys. I think I'm out of wind, out of breath, and I think that's everything. But I'm so thankful. I cannot tell you how much I love you all so much. Thank you. And my husband thanks you too, because he was getting pretty frustrated and he didn't know what to do either. So we're at a point where I'm grateful for you. You will be in my journal tonight. So I'm very grateful for you. I love you all so very much, and I will see you in my very next video. Bye guys.